There's a theologian named Matthew Fox who emphasizes that before there was original sin, there was original blessing. He claims that the early church fathers were imbalanced in their focus on one of these things so much more than the other, and says that that focus is maybe a reflection of them as much as of God. Because Genesis tells us, first thing, that God created human beings in God's image, blessed them, and called them very good. Before there was sin, there was blessing. There was goodness. Which, of course, is not to say that sin doesn't come into the picture. But to bring sin into this conversation about creation, I'd say that Genesis 1 suggests that one way to understand it is that sin is what separates us or blocks us or others from receiving that original blessing, from receiving that original goodness. Sin is what gets in the way from our accepting that and internalizing that, and also encouraging others to know it as well. So things like mean things that we say to ourselves about how we aren't good or aren't this or that, or as good as others. Judgment we have of other people that might imply that they are not as good as us or as others. Actions that alienate or subjugate other people. Things we do that harm the planet God has created, that gets in the way of all of our receiving that goodness. Ways our desire to have more takes away from other people. Ways maybe our drive for security or approval or for power. Ways that it stops us from seeing the enough that is already around us, that God has blessed us with. Systems in our world that cut people off from having enough safety or food or love to thrive. Things that God originally intended for all of us. We are created in the image of God. We are created very good. We are created to receive and to share blessing. What gets in the way of that for you? As a practice this week, notice that. Notice what stops you from receiving God's goodness and God's blessing, from believing that you reflect God in this world. Remind yourself that you are made in the image of God, that God sees you and knows you, that God created you good, and that God wants you to soak in that goodness and claim it and celebrate it as part of giving thanks to God who made you.